Good evening, and welcome to the 2012 University Young Alumni Awards. My name is Bob Gaddy. I'm Vice President for and Dean for Student Affairs. Tonight, we have the honor of celebrating a milestone in the lives of 8 Otterbein Young Alumni. When you are connected to Otterbein, you know what it is meant when you hear about the Otterbein family. It means many things. But one thing I can say for certain it means is this: there is nothing all the members of the Otterbein family care more about than the success and growth of our students. So, to the family and friends who are here tonight with each of our awardees, I want you to know we not only understand your pride this evening, we share with you. It is a richly rewarding gift to see many of us who have known and mentored as they continue to grow and develop into such remarkable professional leaders. And as we talk about leaders, there are many here I would like to introduce to you. First, the members of the University Cabinet. Please stand to be recognized. Secondly, members of the Board of Trustees and the Alumni Council, please stand to be recognized. Lastly, all faculty and staff that are here tonight, please stand to be recognized. We would not be able to honor our young alumni without your support and guidance through their years as students and now as alumni. As a member of the Otterbein family for the past 35 years, I want you to know it is my distinct pleasure to be here tonight with all of you to celebrate the spirit of homecoming and recognize the accomplishments of our aspiring young alumni. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kara Anderson. I'm the Director of Alumni Engagement here at Otterbein. And I want to echo Bob's sentiments for thanking you for your attendance tonight in support of our 8 young alumni leaders who were thoughtfully selected by our volunteer Alumni Council members, many of which are here tonight that you just saw. Also, it has been a true pleasure communicating with all of the awardees over the past several months, and I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time from your busy lives to travel back to campus and join us for this homecoming weekend of celebration. So without further delay, please join me in welcoming to the stage Dr. Chris Reynolds, Interim Chair of the Department of Communication. I would like to note that Dr. Reynolds not only was the advisor to this next awardee while he was a student, but she also submitted an incredibly heartfelt and humorous nomination on his behalf. Dr. Reynolds.
Good evening, everybody. It is my pleasure to present Scott Feiss. Class of 1988 is one of the recipients of the 2012 Professional Achievement Young Alumni Award. This award is presented to Otterbein graduates who have demonstrated a high level of ambition and professional excellence, which has resulted in significant career advancement. Currently, Scott is an award-winning journalist and host of Florida on a Tankful, where he has earned the reputation as a master storyteller, not only on News 13 in Orlando, where he is based, but also Bay News 9 in Tampa. Since he began hosting the series in 2007, Scott has logged more than 50,000 miles crisscrossing the Sunshine State. Besides sun and surf, he's also known for his ability to switch gears and cover big stories, from hurricanes to the space shuttle and rocket launches to elections and politics. Before moving to Florida, Scott worked for the Ohio News Network as the channel's political and public affairs producer and was tapped to anchor overnight newscasts on WBNS 10 TV. To date, Scott has earned from the Associated Press 10 awards and more than a dozen honors from the Society of Professional Journalists. In 2011, he won the Green Eyeshade Award, naming him the leading feature reporter on television in the southeastern United States. Scott is also the proud recipient of 2 Emmy Awards for his reporting. But if you ask him, I wager Scott will tell you that he is most proud of the philanthropy event he co-founded for Give Kids the World. This not-for-profit organization in Orlando grants children with life-threatening illnesses and their families a once-in-a-lifetime vacation away from medical treatment. Coasting for Kids began in 2009 at the Cedar Point Amusement Park in Sandusky, Ohio. In 4 years, the event has grown to 10 amusement parks nationwide and has produced more than $200,000 in donations for Give Kids the World. When Scott was an undergraduate, he was actively involved in WOBN FM radio, WOCC TV, and the Tannin Cardinal. He spent 2 semesters away from Otterbein, one in London, England, in the Roehampton program, and the other one in Washington, D.C. at American. I was Scott's academic advisor and his teacher for a few courses in the department. And whether we were in the classroom, in my office trying to figure out his course schedule, or just conversing about his plans and his exploits, every interaction I had with Scott was intellectually stimulating, mutually productive, and more often than not, full of wit and fun. He had an intellectual drive, he had the creative tools to go very far as a communication professional, and he took advantage of every single opportunity to test and hone those skills while he was here. I couldn't be more proud that Scott is a graduate of our institution. His work is a testament to the best that Otterbein can provide each and every student who embraces their college experience. So Scott, please come forward and accept the 2012 Otterbein Young Alumni Award for Professional Development.
That was really nice. Of everything that she could have said, that was very nice. I think I was afraid I was going to be roasted.
No.
That was great. And I'm also actually very excited, too, that you still consider me young. That I'm one of the oldest ones here tonight. So when somebody says I'm young, it makes me feel good. And I have my stopwatch, because in my business, they train you to keep talking and talking until somebody in your ear tells you to please hurry up and wrap it up. So I have about 1 minute and 50 seconds left. Dr. Reynolds, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Very well done. My mother told me that you always thank everybody, so I want to thank Kara Anderson, also here at Otterbein, for putting tonight's event together. I greatly appreciate it. I never really realized the value of my Otterbein education until after I had left campus and working in the professional world. Then you very quickly realize that not all institutions are actually created the same. And it very quickly became known to me that I was very, very blessed to have been a graduate of Otterbein College. And I still, from time to time, call it Otterbein College. That's the big OC to me. And there is something to be said about coming home. There really, really is. I tell everybody in Florida there's nothing wrong with Ohio, May through September. And then in October, you kind of take this little bit of a nosedive. But this is definitely where home is. This is definitely where my heart is. And I tell everybody wherever I go that Otterbein is a great place to be. And I've actually had the opportunity to represent Otterbein a couple times at college fairs down in Orlando. So I'm trying to create some more Cardinals and send them this way north. A lot of them are a little bit afraid of the weather, but that's definitely okay. And this is a huge honor again. And I greatly appreciate your words of wisdom. Wow, 15, maybe 16 years ago. That was a couple years ago. Again,
Keep reminding me.
Yeah. Your hair looks good. Yeah. Like it. So again, I am extremely honored. And again, I've seen firsthand, again, the value of what a small institution such as Otterbein, it does not have to be the biggest school in town, that honestly there's a benefit to going to a smaller school. And I saw that firsthand when I was a freshman. I had Dr. Reynolds as my speech teacher, and we were all really worried about our final exam. And she said, you know what? Why don't you come over to my house? Come over to my house on Sunday afternoon, and my husband will make lunch. We can all sit around and we'll talk. And other folks who I have talked to throughout my journeys never had that experience. They never had a professor reach out to them and say, hey, why don't you come over to my place? Off the clock, we're going to sit, we're going to talk, and we're going to have an enlightening conversation. And that is one of my favorite Otterbein memories, honestly. And another person I have to say thank you to is my beautiful granny over here. At age, can I say granny? She can't hear me. At age 96. Yes, that Florence Schreiner is here. My Otterbein, and it is because of my grandmother and her love that I'm actually here at Otterbein. She made it possible. Thank you, Granny. My college experience was a little bit different. I lived at home. I grew up right here in Westerville. I'm a proud Westerville resident growing up. And so then when school was out in the summer, I didn't go home. I went to Granny's house up on Lake Erie, and I spent summers living with my grandmother. So she was there to welcome me after the school year, and she was the first one to kick me out of her house and get me back to campus when the time came. So I want to share this with you tonight because I absolutely adore you. Thank you. Okay, so if this was a live broadcast, they'd now be telling me in my ear ferociously, wrap it up. So I think that's what we're going to do. Again, thank you very much. I am very, very humbled.
Next, I would like to welcome alumna Gwen Swigert-Nichols from the class of 1993. Gwen and the next awardee became friends through a sorority on campus, and they remain friends today. Gwen, would you please come to stage as we honor our next Professional Achievement awardee?
It's my pleasure to be here tonight to announce Julie Longstreth Moorhead, alumna from the class of 1995, as one of the recipients of the 2012 Professional Achievement Young Alumni Award. Julie founded Growth Solutions Limited, a sales and marketing and communication consulting firm, in March of 2012. She provides the guidance and support organizations and individuals need to not only create balance, but also to leverage experience and potential into growth. With Growth Solutions, Julie is a national speaker, trainer, sales coach, and executive consultant. This is wearing me out, by the way, and we haven't even gotten to the good stuff. She's got a lot going on. Prior to founding Growth Solutions, Julie spent 4 years with 31 Gifts, most recently as the Vice President of Sales. In this role, she was responsible for overseeing the company's sales and recruiting efforts, field leadership development, and supported its over 80,000 independent sales leaders. Before her experience with 31 Gifts, Julie spent over 19 years with the Longaberger Company. In true Otterbein fashion, her career began as an intern, while she was still a full-time student. She utilized every opportunity to learn and develop her skill set, so as a result, she quickly rose to the top, becoming the company's primary spokesperson and chief of staff for CEO Tammy Longaberger. Julie also worked with late company founder Dave Longaberger on several development projects, established the Longaberger Homestead, a shopping, dining, and entertainment complex, the Place Off the Square, a Longaberger hotel, and Longaberger Golf Club. She was project director for Longaberger, An American Success Story, Dave Longaberger's autobiography that became a New York Times #1 bestseller. I think you wrote half of that, right? In addition to her incredible career accomplishments, Julie is a board member of the Licking County American Red Cross, a member of the Columbus Chamber of Commerce, the International Association of Business Communicators, Women on Fire, the Columbus YWCA, and the Direct Selling Association, among other organizations. You know, one of the neat things about Otterbein is that you meet someone one random day, and that person really impacts you and inspires you throughout your life. There's classmates, professors. I met my husband at Otterbein. That was a chance meeting and a different story. But Julie wasn't a chance meeting. I think it was Wendy Patila who met her by chance and made sure that within the next week, 40 of us had lined up to shake her hand. She made such an impact as soon as she got on campus. Julie was my pledge in our sorority, so that means it's my duty to teach her all about owls, our history, guide her along the way. I don't know how much I did for her, but she did a lot for me. She was really more my role model. She had her act together as a freshman who could balance classes and activities and still find time to make her family and friends feel really special. She's really taken my world by storm, and I know she's done that for others. I always wondered why she wanted to graduate with honors when Dave Longaberger had a job waiting for her. You know, that's overachievement that I couldn't. Dean Gaddy, you're shaking your head. You know me. When she was my pledge, she did all of her pledge duties, met everybody in the sorority, had a wonderful time, and said, "Gwen, I need more pledge duties." I happily complied, but I won't go any farther. Julie, you're truly a role model, not only for your professional achievements, but also for your role as a devoted mother and wife and your commitment to your community. Will you please come forward and accept the 2012 Otterbein University Young Alumni Award for Professional Achievement?
Well, I didn't think I was going to be emotional tonight, but thank you very much, Gwen. I had no idea she was going to be here. She kept it a complete secret and really thought she was just here to enjoy the reception and did not know she was going to be announcing me. So thank you for taking time away from your family this evening. She is someone who is so near and dear to my heart, and she was one of my very first positive impressions of Otterbein when I walked on campus. I am very honored by this award tonight, and just really want to say what an amazing experience it was to be here at Otterbein. And I, like Scott, still think of it as the big OC, and it really was an amazing experience. One of my favorite quotes that has served me well over the course of my life and in my professional career was by Sousa, who said that life is a journey, not a destination. That is one that I time and time again think back on and reflect about all the amazing people that have been along the way with me, kind of maybe pushing me along, maybe supporting me, celebrating with me along that journey. It started with my family at home, so thank you all for being here very much to enjoy this evening with me. And then along the way, once I got here to Otterbein, folks like Becky Smith and Bob Gaddy, Alan Prindle, Shireen Mafi were really instrumental in helping guide my education here, and it really was the integrated studies, believe it or not. That concept of thinking bigger than just a class, bigger than just a major, that has guided and it really been really helpful to me in my career, because I've had more experiences in my career than I would have ever expected a little girl from the tiny town of Dresden, Ohio, to get to do. And I've had to think big. And those integrated studies and seeing how things connected and it all worked together really paved the way. And I've had some amazing mentors along the way, Dave Longaberger being one of them. But it has been all about surrounding myself with good people. And Otterbein is good people. So thank you so much. I'm very honored, and I am thrilled that you are here tonight. Thank you very much.
I would like to welcome Dr. Shannon Lacknan, Associate Professor in the English Department, as well as the Quiz and Quill Advisor, to the stage. Shannon has been so supportive of the next awardee. Not only did she submit the nomination, but she also invited this alumna to speak in the classroom today. So Shannon, we thank you for your support, and we appreciate your nomination.
It's my pleasure to introduce Sarah Martindale, alumna from the class of 2008, as the recipient of the 2012 Global and Intercultural Engagement Young Alumni Award. I think that might be the longest title of any of the awards, and if so, it's very well deserved. This award recognizes alumni who have experienced international engagement with diverse populations through service, volunteerism, or professional contributions. Upon graduation from Otterbein, Sarah moved to Salt Lake City to work with a US-2 United Methodist Missionary social justice advocate with the nonprofit agency Crossroads Urban Center. Crossroads offered multiple opportunities to serve. It ran the busiest emergency food pantry in the state and also organized several grassroots groups to advocate to the state legislature about policies related to poverty. After 2 years with Crossroads, though, Sarah moved to a rural village in Nambia, Africa, to serve with the Peace Corps. For 2 years, she served as an English teacher as well as a library supervisor. Sarah was an English major with a specialization in creative writing, which she was able to utilize during her time in Nambia by by teaching English and serving as a library supervisor, but also by sharing her experiences through a regularly updated and thoroughly fascinating blog, Learning and Loving in Africa. And I urge you to check it out. It is truly thoroughly fascinating. Sarah's work after graduation consistently blends her training in English studies with her dedication to service and her lifelong curiosity about different peoples and cultures. In the summer of 2012, Sarah moved to North Carolina and served as an intern at a rural church assisting with pastoral care and weekly services. This fall, she began graduate work at Duke Divinity School, where she seeks a Master of Divinity degree. Had she not been so involved in Otterbein life as a student, I'd be tempted to say that she's been busier in the 4 years since graduating than she was during her years here. But the truth is that Sarah was ever involved, even then, in both student organizations and less formalized, less noticeable, except to the people who benefited most from them, ways. Through her enthusiasm to participate in classes, her willingness and openness to not only approach, but also encourage the engagement of and to mentor, truly mentor other students. Reflecting on Sarah's ever-inquisitive energy and compassion for learning, it's no surprise to me at all that she has truly soared since graduating. Sarah, your curiosity for other cultures and beliefs, along with your passion to learn, is truly inspiring. Will you please come forward to accept the 2012 Otterbein University Young Alumni Award for Global and Intercultural Engagement.
The overwhelming response I have to all of this is similar to what the other award recipients have shared. It's a litany of gratitude. So if you'll indulge me, I would like to take this time to voice that appreciation. Thank you for valuing this concept of intercultural exchange and encouraging students to embark on a broader journey far beyond their comfort zone. Thank you for professors who are committed to opening students' minds to the wider world, sparking a passion for lifelong learning. Prior to ever coming to Otterbein or subsequently traveling, I was blessed to be raised in a family that demonstrates unconditional love. So thank you for making extra efforts to get in touch when I was deep in the African bush, and for supporting me even through decisions that were not always easy to understand. As I look ahead to where my next steps will be, I trust that I walk them with God, to whom I am also grateful for these transformative experiences, for the gift of life and of hope. I do believe God was with me throughout this journey, though, if I'm honest, I didn't always feel it. And I believe God remains with us all as we all try to live through the challenges of each new day. So I am humbled by the ways God has used other people, both abroad and at home, to bestow gifts of love and learning. I hope all of us can somehow remain open to that mysterious movement in our lives, to wherever God might be calling us to go. Thank you again.
For our next awardee in this category, I would like to welcome Ed Vaughn, professor in the Department of Theater and Dance and alumnus from the class of 1971. Ed, I welcome you to the stage as a great friend and mentor to our next award winner.
I feel like I should dance. It's my pleasure to announce Sam Jaeger as the alumnus of class of 1999 as the recipient of the 2012 Creative Achievement Young Alumni Award. This award recognizes graduates who have achieved outstanding creative accomplishments through innovative work, intellectual curiosity, and collaboration with others in their chosen discipline. In just a short time after graduation, Sam has created a national reputation as an actor, director, writer, and producer. Recently, Sam returned to Columbus for the local premiere of an independent film in which he starred, as well as produced, direct, and wrote. The film Take Me Home also starred his wife Amber, alumni from the class of 1999. I also had a brief cameo in that film if you didn't blink too quickly. The film debuted and won awards at 14 film festivals from Boston to Napa Valley. Sam began his professional acting career while still a student at Otterbein, landing a guest role on Law and Order while he was on internship in New York City. After spending some time in the New York theater scene, he moved to Los Angeles. Once in Los Angeles, he landed parts in 2 feature films, Traffic and Behind Enemy Lines. Sam tells the story about Traffic. He went to the premiere of that movie with his then girlfriend, Amber, and he was hoping to impress her. He had a very nice scene in the movie, and he kept watching the movie and realized finally and leaned over to Amber and said, "I should have been on by now." And he discovered that his first feature film was left on the editing floor and that he was introduced to Hollywood. But it didn't stop him because he has an impressive resume, which include roles in the television hits such as ER, CSI, The West Wing, NYPD Blue, Scrubs, Eli Stone, and most recently as Joel Graham on NBC's Parenthood. He has also been in feature films including Catch and Release, starring Jennifer Gardner, Lucky Number 11, opposite Bruce Willis and Josh Hartnett, and Heart's War with Bruce Willett and Colin Farrell. Sam's tireless advocacy on behalf of Autism Speaks is the evidence of his commitment to his community and his own caring spirit. He has filmed promotional videos for Autism Speaks, both in Ohio and Los Angeles. And the proceeds from many of his film debuts often benefit the organization as well. In addition, he has written his own children's book with a message to parents to never forget to appreciate the world around them. A few years ago, I got a call from Sam, and he said, "Hey, I've just adapted a short story into a film, and I want you to play the lead. Are you interested?" I said, "Of course." And he said, "Well, here's the dates. Are you available?" And at that time, I was doing a show downtown at Catco, and I said, "Sam, I'm sorry, but I'm in performance at that time." And the phone rang the next day, and he said, "Ed, you're right for this role. I want to work with you. I'll change the dates." And we had a wonderful time. I'm proud to be one of Sam's professors, but I'm honored that he is my friend. He's not here tonight because he's directing the 3rd episode of Parenthood, but he did want to send us a video, and I'm going to get out of the way. Becky, come do your job. One of my nice things is, yes, I can hold Becky's hand as I step down. And ladies and gentlemen, I offer to you Sam Jager.
Say, first of all, how sorry I am I couldn't be there tonight, and second of all, just how honored I am to accept this award. Otterbein means a great deal to me. I met my wife there, I met my best friend there, and and the teachers I had there did such a remarkable job. I think the most important thing you can do with a kid in college that's looking for a creative career is to fill them with confidence. That's to really instill in them that they can do this. And I had that unbelievable delusion when I graduated Otterbein, and that's due to people like Ed Vaughn and to so many other incredible people there. So thank you. I'm deeply honored, and I hope to come visit all the great changes and see all the great changes at Otterbein in the coming future. So thanks again.
The next two awards are presented for community engagement, which truly is at the heart of Otterbein's core values. First, I would like to call upon Joanne Miller-Stickway, Emeritus Professor from the Art Department and alumna from the class of 1967. Joanne remains in touch and in the hearts of many alumni, so we are happy she is able to join us tonight. Joanne?
It's my pleasure to introduce Jonathan Jurovich as one of the recipients of the 2012 Young Alumni Award for Community Engagement. This award is presented to alumni who have exemplified the university's philosophy of concern and commitment to society. Jonathan, a 2005 Otterbein art major graduate, wears many hats. He is an art teacher at Liberty Tree Elementary School in Powell, Ohio, a coach, an artist, a marathon runner, and a cancer research advocate. I can still picture vividly the first time I met Jonathan in 2001. As a high school senior and prospective student, he visited Otterbein's campus for an interview and a portfolio review with the art department. After he left, Professor Nicholas Hill and I said to each other, "What a remarkable young man. He will be able to attend any college he chooses." Fortunately for all of us who know him, he chose Otterbein. Within his Olentangy school community, he is a teacher and coach, manages an incredible website gallery of students' artwork, organizes an annual school-wide Festival of Art event featuring exhilarating works by all 600 of his students, serves as a mentor, is a member of the Pay It Forward Committee, and assists in the planning committee for the Red Cross Blood Drive. He is a founding member of the Olentangy Arts Council and has received the Teacher of the Year Award. Amidst all of these activities, he has also recently earned his Master of Arts in Art Education. I have often thought that there must be at least 48 hours in each one of Jonathan's days. As an elementary school art teacher for the past 7 years, John says that it is his true passion to help his students make connections between the fine arts world and their everyday lives. He works hard to make his classroom an environment that all students will delight in. He believes that the art classroom should be a place where experiments, investigations, successes, and mishaps are all celebrated for their educational value. John's interest in community service evolved at Otterbein, where he was a member of the Otterbein Community Service Team and a leader of the America Reads program at Avalon Elementary School. For his volunteer work, he received the C. Brent DeVore Memorial Humanitarian of the Year Award during his junior year. John went on to earn a master's degree in art education from the Art Academy of Cincinnati, where he received the Peace and Justice Award in both 2009 and 2010, an additional testament to his ongoing positive impact on the community. In addition to his teaching position, John embodies the true meaning of community engagement by helping others during times of adversity. In January 2011, Madeline, one of his first grade students, was diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer. John and many other community members stepped in to support her and her family. Inspired by Madeline, John launched an ambitious fundraising campaign that raised over $60,000 for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society of Central Ohio. This earned him the title Man of the Year from the organization in 2012. Now Madeline is 7 and in remission, and John has created an art exhibition that offers a uniquely personal example of the inspiration that can come from the student-teacher relationship. In 2012, Otterbein's Miller Gallery featured his exhibition of silkscreen prints and shoelaces. The artwork incorporates phrases from Madeline and her mother about their experiences during cancer treatments. While we don't usually think of shoelaces as art, John included the shoelaces not only because of his passion for running, but also because he and Madeline agreed that his 9th running of the Columbus Marathon would be dedicated to her. And I think his 10th marathon is coming up, and he is also honoring cancer survivors and other friends affected by cancer. John, you are truly inspiring, and we thank you for your commitment to helping others. Please come forward to accept the 2012 Otterbein University Young Alumni Community Engagement Award.
This is at the right height, so we'll be good. And I have a hard time talking to adults, so I wrote mine out too. This is really crazy because no one really goes into service with the idea that they're going to be recognized. And until recently, my crowning achievement was a couple years ago when a 3rd grader dressed up like me for Halloween. So let's start at the beginning, like really the beginning. I grew up in a family of truly loving, compassionate people, but it was my grandparents that made me who I am today. My grandmother was the loving matriarch as she cooked giant family meals, encouraged us to be musicians and artists, and taught us to love everyone, respecting individual differences. And she did that all while being blind. And my grandfather, he was the personification of love as he tended to her needs and guided her along in complete selflessness. But it was here at Otterbein that it not only became clearly apparent that my role in life was to be an art teacher, but that serving others would always be a part of who I am. I learned that I could inspire others to step outside their comfort zones and join me with the use of enthusiasm, humor, and occasionally dressing up as Clifford the Big Red Dog. I owe my professionalism to my Otterbein professors, especially Joanne Stickway and Nicholas Hill from the art department, who taught me to dream big and not to compartmentalize my life into parts, but to entwine all the pieces of who I am, often combining my art, my teaching, and cancer advocacy. Cancer has felt like this incredibly evil force that has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. And the question I get most often is, have I ever been a fighter or am I a survivor? And no, fortunately, I have never been diagnosed, but an ever-growing number of my family members and friends have fought the battle of their lives. When I was a kid, a young family member of mine was diagnosed with leukemia. All of the kids in the family knew he was sick, but no one explained anything to us. We're not part of the larger conversation. To me, this is how cancer has been viewed and is viewed by many families. It's a truth, something real, something horrible, but a topic that we just don't discuss in public. And then it all became real when just over 2 years ago, a 1st grader of mine, Madeline, was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. This little innocent ray of sunshine was fighting the battle of her life, and I knew that in that moment, all I needed to be was there. To be the cheerful one that told funny jokes or came by for quesadilla night or played Chutes and Ladders over and over again. And last October, I ran a marathon in her name. During her treatment, I was completing my master's in art education, and my thesis took a very dramatic turn and focused on our interdependence on one another, how my identity itself was being formed through our relationship. From these experiences, I created a body of screen prints that were shown here at Otterbein. The work quietly addressed the day-to-day concerns of a young patient and the thoughts and concerns of her supporters. And I'm beyond words overjoyed to share that just last week, we found out that Madeline is still in remission. In the winter of last year, I was contacted by another former student of mine who was fighting leukemia while I was her teacher. Now in remission, she wanted to nominate me for Man of the Year for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And this campaign is a fundraising competition where all funds raised directly support patient care and research. And upon accepting the nomination, I said, of course, I'm the only person that is nominated for an award to do more work. And for 10 weeks, we held blood drives, art shows, a night of music performed by my friends right here from Otterbein. I gave presentations at school buildings, we sold t-shirts, buttons, baked goods, and I even got up on a stage at a bar during a concert with a plastic pail asking for donations. Essentially, I was putting to practice the strategies I had learned here at Otterbein to inspire others to join a fight, and it paid off. In 10 weeks, we raised $60,264.26, and I was named Man of the Year for the LLS, raising more than any other candidate in Central Ohio had in the past. It's still hard for me to fathom this number or the great good it will do. And my grandparents I mentioned earlier, they're both no longer with us, and actually my grandfather passed away with 2 weeks left to go in the campaign from lung cancer. But in recognition of the inspiration they were to my life and the unsung heroes they were, I was able to name the grant in their name. That $60,000 is funding research by Dr. Giovanni Roti in honor of Lou and Josie Kranz for leukemia and ALL. I'm almost done, I promise. Why do any of this? Why subject myself to these moments and to vulnerably asking for money for 10 straight weeks? Well, it comes back to my role as a teacher. And as that teacher, I strive to be a role model for my students because it is they that will someday change the world. It's these brilliant, enthusiastic, and empathetic young minds like Madeline that will be a force to make our world a better place. The day they announced that I had won Man of the Year at school and exactly how much money I had raised, a third grader went to their teacher and said, "I'm going to do that someday." Maybe what I've been able to teach them and myself is that if a little elementary art teacher can make a difference, so can you. Thank you.
Next, I would like to call University Chaplain Monty Bradley to the stage. Monty, we thank you for your mentorship of so many students and alumni, including the upcoming awardee, and we welcome you to the stage. Monty.
It is my pleasure and my honor to announce Zach Reet, alumnus from the class of 2005, as one of the recipients of the 2012 Young Alumni Award for Community Engagement. This award represents Otterbein's mission to educate the whole person with a broad base of learning that fosters the development of humane values. The university believes this kind of education, this brand of education, serves to shape each student, not only for their future career, but for life as an informed and engaged member of our global society. Zach is a wonderful prime example of Otterbein's mission, and we thank him for his service and work towards the betterment of our society, both at the local and at the global level. First met Zach, I think, when about junior year or so, and for student affairs folk, I think if we looked up a recent edition of Student Developmental Theory, looked up Perry's model, that we'd find Zach's picture there. Because when I met him, he was coming somewhere out of that multiplicity into relativism and making commitments within relativism. With these discussions, heavy-duty discussions, he was president of his fraternity, wrestling with kind of a rowdy bunch. But there were other questions coming through in terms of purpose and meaning. Long story short, I am happy to say he figured it out quite well. Thank you very much. For you see, upon his graduation from Otterbein, Zach began his journey as an AmeriCorps Vista leader with the Columbus Coalition for the Homeless for the next 2 years. Now, the irony that his mentor at the coalition was Dr. Bill Casto, retired professor from Methodist Theological School, who also happened to be my advisor when I was a seminary student. There, Zach helped form alliances between the organizations serving the homeless in Columbus. One of the programs he developed was an experiential learning opportunity for students called Sleep Out for the Homeless. The event was organized by Zach, along with Professor Margaret Kohler and her Integrative Studies class, the Center for Community Engagement, and with my IS 260 class as well. Zach stayed the whole night. I made it to about midnight, 1 o'clock, and bailed out on him. But Zach made it through the whole night, all the years that we did it in November in the cold. Margaret and I also had the pleasure of watching Zach. We were an executive board, and watching Zach as he moved into this position and watched his growth, his maturity, his development as he worked at the coalition too as well. Later at the coalition, Zach developed the Unsheltered Life, an educational program about homelessness for the benefit of educating university students. He piloted this program at Otterbein and then promoted it to lead Vista for the statewide project implementation. In fact, Zach trained many of our own students over a 2-year time period in service learning courses. And as a matter of fact, I had him come in and do it for my IS 260 on occasion, as well as my senior year experience class as well. Excellent stuff. The program challenged participants to understand homelessness from several different perspectives, expanding their capacity for compassion and inspiring clear and thoughtful action. For his efforts, he received the 2006 Citizen Alumni Award from Otterbein Center for Community Engagement. After his Vista term had ended, Zach was hired at the coalition as its first paid full-time staff member. This is a very bare-bones organization. This was a big step. He was responsible for presenting the Unsheltered Life program to various groups in Central Ohio community, planning and implementing an annual forum on homelessness issues, which is an annual conference that is just a powerful kind of experience if you ever get a chance to go, training volunteers and fundraising on behalf of the coalition. At the end of 2008, Zach left the coalition to become the outreach programs manager for the Ohio Association of Food Banks, Ohio Benefit Bank. In this position, he coordinates the activities of the Ohio Benefit Bank in a 15-county area, including Ruby Payne's Bridge Out of Poverty training and managing special project that makes accessing public benefits and tax credits easier for low-income families. In 2012, Zach became a volunteer board member for the Columbus Coalition for the Homeless, where he provides oversight and support for many of the programs he helped to create as a Vista volunteer, including Street Speech, which is a street newspaper published by the homeless. Zach said, smashing success. It is now at 15,000 copies a day. The Marcia Donor Mother's Day brunch, Unsheltered Life, and the annual forum on homeless issues, with this year's theme for the homeless annual forum is on healthcare. Zach, you are truly inspiring, and we thank you for your compassion, your service, your commitment to others. Will you please come forward and accept the 2012 Otterbein University Young Alumni Award for Community Engagement.
This is one of those nights where going first would have been okay. I'm incredibly honored to receive this award and more honored to receive it with the people who are up here getting it with me. Sam Yeager may not know this, but I had the privilege of doing a play with him directed by Ed Vaughn when I was in the 6th grade. I played Jim Finch in To Kill a Mockingbird, and Sam played Atticus. And he may not know this, but I got back from my junior year of high school abroad, and my parents said, so college, what are we going to do? And I said, I loved Otterbein. I love being there, and I continue to love being here and being a part of everything. But there are some people I wanted to thank tonight, specifically my mom and dad, first of all, for bringing me up and helping me to build a foundation so that I can take care of myself, take care of my family, and occasionally be available to help take care of others. Also want to thank you for really making service an important thing in our lives growing up. It mattered. I wanted to thank Chaplain Bradley and Dr. Gilbert for building such a strong service learning program, and Dr. Doherty for being the professor in my first service learning class. Yes, I loved the IS classes too. And what was really important, Dr. Doherty, is that the service learning wasn't just 10 hours we had to complete. It was a part of the learning we did, and it was a very important part. So thank you for that. Finally, I want to thank my partner and wife, Sarah, for your patience. And also just for your support through all the good times and the bad. For those of you who work in the helping professions, you may know you bring some of that stuff home sometimes. And I appreciate you being there to help. Most importantly, thanks for being an awesome wife and a superb mother. Thank you.
The next speaker is Lucy Cryan, alumna from the class of 1986, as well as a beloved friend to our next awardee. Lucy, we are grateful you are here tonight, so you please join me on stage.
Thank you, Kara. It's my pleasure to announce Rob Burke, alumnus from the class of 2000, as one of the recipients of the 2012 Young Alumni Award for Leadership and Citizenship. This award serves to recognize leaders among Otterbein's alumni community. Rob has incredible passion and commitment to the equine industry. He has demonstrated outstanding leadership and has orchestrated meaningful change in his profession and community, which includes his continuing dedication to the Otterbein Department of Equine Science. Currently, Rob works in Washington, D.C. for the United States Department of Agriculture in the Research, Education, and Economics Mission area. In this position, he is Executive Director and a Senior Advisor to the Secretary of the USDA, which provides direction to the National Genetic Resources Advisory Council and the congressionally mandated National Agricultural Extension, Education, and Economics Advisory Board. Prior to his federal role, Rob was the Executive Director of the Maryland Department of Agriculture's Horse Industry Board. He has lectured at the University of Maryland, in the Institute of Applied Agriculture, and at Virginia Tech in the Department of Animal and Poultry Sciences. Rob also was a graduate research assistant at Virginia Tech, where he earned his master's degree in 2005. Rob is a member of the American Society of Animal Science and the Equine Science Society. He actively participates in the Horse Council Political Action Committee and is a coordinator of the Mission Area Emergency Evacuation Assembly. His work has been published widely, both in scientific publications and articles in popular press, including a biographical article in the winter 2008 Otterbein Towers magazine. Rob has had much success in the riding arena as well, both as coach and as a competitor. During the 2010-2011 IHSA season, Rob coached the United States Naval Academy Intercollegiate Equestrian Team. As a rider, in 2005, Rob received 10th place at an international level event at Morven Park in Virginia. As an undergrad at Otterbein, he placed 4th at nationals as the AQHA Western rider, and he was the IHSA Zone 6 Region 3 Open Over Fences champion, Open Flat Reserve champion, and Open Western and reigning champion. During his years at Otterbein, Rob was a department senator on the University Senate, activities coordinator, vice president and president of the equestrian team, and in his senior year, one of the riding coaches for Otterbein's equestrian team. He was awarded the Department of Equine Science Betty F. Kennedy Award for Academic Excellence in 2000, as well as the Abdullah Award for contributions to the Equine Science Department and equestrian team in 1999. Now, the more personal side. Before Rob's enrollment at Otterbein, he and his father came all the way from California for a visit. I remember most of the prospective families I've met, but there was no way I would forget these two. Mr. Burke was so proud of his son. I heard all about Rob's achievements, awards, attributes, strengths, and honors. It was clear that in Mr. Burke's eyes, Rob could do no wrong. I'm not sure if Rob said one word during our meeting, leaving me to believe he was going to be one of those students. A know-it-all that wouldn't listen to anyone. I couldn't have been more wrong. Rob was helpful, dedicated, down to earth, and best of all, extremely fun to be around. Now I sound like his father. With his impressive resume, it's hard to believe there is more. However, as a friend of Rob's for all these years, I have learned the secret to his success. Rob understands balance. He's devoted to his family and friends, always has always has a positive outlook, and continues to successfully separate his work from his home life. He is compassionate, funny, and filled with integrity. Personally, Rob has been there for me through one of the most difficult years of my life. His positive attitude and support helped me gain strength. It is often said that teachers inspire their students. Well, in this case, my student has inspired me, and for that I am grateful. Rob, happy birthday. We thank you and your family for traveling back to Otterbein to join us for this special award. That's it.
Ooh, I'm nervous. So, like the other awardees have said, we are humbled and honored to be here to receive these awards. But we are what you guys made us. That's the truth. Whether it be through genetics, through education, experience, spirituality, we wouldn't be here without you guys. And when I received the letter from President Crandall notifying me of this honor, I kind of had to reread it a couple times. Leadership and citizenship. You see, I don't really call myself a leader, and a citizen. Yeah, I vote. I'm a citizen, I think. But as far as a leader, that's harder. I think to call yourself a leader is almost, it feels like bragging a little bit. So, I really still think of myself as this little 5th grade kid. And my dad will remember this, but this 5th grade kid who at an assembly, I couldn't recite or start or lead the recitation of a poem about Christmas. And it's still, I still think of how nervous I was. Well, I've had a couple of speaking engagements since, a couple. So I've gotten out of that. But, I've met leaders. I've been educated by leaders. I don't think of the people I've worked with in government or industry. I think of the people who really impacted my life. I think of my dad, who is a retired Episcopalian priest. Watching him on Sundays beautifully and flawlessly conduct services. I mean, that had an impact on me. My mother, who's a retired librarian and children's storyteller, watching her walk through the library, it was like watching a rock star. The kids would flock to her, or like Barney the dinosaur, I guess. And then, my Otterbein mentors, I think of the equine science faculty, Dr. Maria Calderon, former faculty member Dr. Lynn Taylor, and then the faculty within the biology and earth sciences department all had a tremendous effect on me. And then I really think of Lucy Cryan. She really was a mentor of mentors. For us within the equine area, whether we be riders or in equine science, she really taught us what it meant to be a part of Otterbein and what it meant to be a part of this family and this team. I still hate University of Findlay, even though you guys don't ride against them anymore, but sorry, any alumni of Findlay. And then I think of probably the largest mentor, largest leader in my life, my wife, Dr. Amy Ordakowski-Burke. I continue to learn from her every day how to love, laugh. She's an amazing educator and parent, and she's a leader. And all these leaders, I learned I learn a lot, but there are 4 things I really walk away with. 1, show up. And it sounds simple. And this was taught to me by an Otterbein professor, and it shouldn't have taken till college for me to learn that you had to show up. But that genuinely impacted my grade point average when I learned if I showed up, it did better. Treat everyone with dignity and respect, especially the people who receive it the least. And then preparation is key. Always try to be the most prepared person in the room if you can. And then last, give credit where credit is due. So I really credit you guys to the success I've had in life. And I hope that my kids, Emma and Sydney, that they're as blessed with guidance from leaders as good as all of you. So with that, I just want to thank you. This award is yours, so thank you very much.
Lastly, we invite Frankie Folk, proud alumna from the class of 1997, and not only a good friend to our last awardee, but also her nominator for this award. Frankie?
It's
It's my pleasure to announce Catherine Visconti Hagman, alumni from the class of 1997 and 2006, as one of the recipients of the 2012 Young Alumni Award for Leadership and Citizenship. The alumni who received this award represent the ideal of a committed, industrious, and caring individual to whom the Otterbein community may look to as personifying the university's mission. Kate is currently acting as Director of Change Management and Adoption for Blue Wolf, a consulting firm based in New York, New York. Kate works from Columbus and travels internationally to lead the team and ensure appropriate change management and adoption programs. She was awarded Blue Wolf's Rookie of the Year in 2012 and Woman of Innovation at the Global Conference in 2010. Previously, Kate worked for Huntington Bank for 14 years, where she was most recently the Salesforce.com program manager, acting as lead on scope, technology, vendor, and change management. In addition to her full-time work with Huntington, Kate founded Visco K Media, LLC, a personal business and nonprofit writing services provider, in 2008. Kate is a Leadership Columbus graduate and has been a guest lecturer at Otterbein, as well as an Otterbein job fair consultant and a member of the Otterbein MBA Advisory Board. Kate has also volunteered for countless community organizations and charities. She serves on the Unverfirth House Board of Trustees. She is a YWCA business coach, a member of the United Way Leaders Circle, and a member of the Friends of the American Red Cross Programs Committee. Also, she is a volunteer fundraiser for several nonprofit agencies, including Alzheimer's Association, Pet Promise Rescue Run, and Pelotonia, just to name a few. Kate has demonstrated outstanding leadership and has been an agent of change since the first day I met her at Otterbein College. She always puts the needs of others in front of her own while maintaining a professional attitude and attaining her goals. She is the incarnation of what an Otterbein education can become, and she deserves to be honored for her leadership in both professional and charitable endeavors. Personally, Kate's always been there for me, and when I went through going through cancer treatments and things, she was always there, and we would go to her house and we'd go to different friends' houses, and that really helped me through it. And just professionally, she is somebody that is always, people are always drawn to her just because she's always upbeat and funny, and she really deserves this award. So, Kate, will you come forward and accept the 2012 Otterbein University Young Alumni Award for Leadership and Citizenship?
So as I walked up tonight, I was telling my husband, who's with me in the audience, that I did not write a speech. I was just going to get up here and say what the first 7 people said. And it was a joke. But after the first 7 people just spoke, and I think it was Zach who said, it's probably a good idea to go first. Oh my gosh. Robert, I want to echo exactly what you said, that being a leader is really just caring about what everybody else is doing, and I do not feel like a leader standing up here after listening to all of those 7 stories, or even some of the stories of the folks who introduced each of these stories. Why I do what I do is to get to hang out with all of you people. Julie mentioned surrounding yourself with successful people. And I read a book by Shed Helmstetter called The Gift, where he mentioned surrounding yourself with successful people. And I think to myself, that started when I was a baby with my mom, who's here in the audience, who put herself through college with 3 kids while working full-time and taught me everything I know about being a leader. So, Mom, I love you. Each one of my friends who are here with me have gotten me out of bed early for all of those weird organizations that we just heard about. I did light the night with Frankie for the Lymphoma Society, and Frankie, actually, I nominated her for one of these awards, so I'm going to do it again next year until she wins, because her fight with cancer with 2 young children, she's an inspiration to me, so we should be flipping places. You're incredible. Katie, who was my roommate right out of college, drags me out of bed for a duathlon a couple months ago, And as I'm passing her on the trail, I'm like, I'm gonna kill you. It was a trail run, and I hate hills, but we were raising money for a good cause. Alicia, I have no idea how many fundraisers we've done, autism walks, the Alzheimer's Association. The unfortunate thing is every one of these have some passion for me to go do as well, because my uncle has autism. I've had friends who've committed suicide, my dear friend Frankie with cancer. But the most important thing that I cannot leave this stage with saying is, as I read through my own bio, thought, oh my God, I must never be home. And my husband truly must be my best friend in the world to stick through that with me. My favorite story of my fundraiser with my husband, who was a cross-country runner in high school, I got this bright idea as a shot and disc thrower who couldn't run a lap in high school that I should do a marathon for the Stroke Association in the honor of my grandma. So Josh trained with me. We got through the first part of the marathon, and I was dying. I was like, I'm not going to make it, and he pushed me through. We got to the end, and he pulled a muscle, and I got a second wind, and I'm like, come on, honey, we can do this. After the marathon, he said, why did we do a marathon again? I'm like, because you love running, and I wanted to do something you enjoy. And he was like, I hate running. I was only in cross country because Mom wouldn't let me play football. So to go 26.2 miles in Hawaii heat to raise $10,000 for the Stroke Association, honey, I owe it all to you. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of the first 7 folks. I think we should start our own business because we'd kill it, right? Thanks so much for this honor. I would be remiss if I didn't say, back to the whole foundation of everything, I came to Otterbein because I love this place. I think I proved it by coming back a second time and giving more money and meeting more professors. Several of my professors are here, and I want to thank a couple key professors that made the biggest impact on my life. Dr. Nancy Woodson, who was chair of the English department when I was here, and we went through the honors program together. Dr. Eisenstein, who's here and got me through my thesis. Oh my gosh, that was terrible. And Dr. Knight, who's no longer with us. Most of my cancer races that I do are in honor of her. And when I was here with my master's, she helped us do an event or program where we set up a foundation over at St. Anne's called Jan's Place, where we put a store and a boutique in for women with cancer. So Otterbein is so incredibly involved in the community, and I'm just honored to feel recognized by you for what you've given me. So thank you, Otterbein.
Well, I can say at the beginning that I only wish this event had been last night, because today several of us traveled to Cincinnati to meet with 50 guidance counselors and talk about the value and the worth of an Otterbein education. And I think next year what I'm going to do is show a video of this event. This is a wonderful way for us to begin our homecoming celebrations, because what we really are focusing on is the outcomes of the teaching, the mentoring, the experiential learning, the co-curricular activities, and I must say that it was wonderful to hear so many references to integrative studies, because every time a guidance counselor or a 17-year-old asks me to explain it, I'm going to just play back what you all said. I always say, well, the alumni tell us these are the most important classes because it pulls everything together. And I think it's hard for a 17-year-old to understand that until you experience it. So could you all just give me some sound bites on that, or a little promo or something, but it would be great. What we've really seen tonight in terms of the connections with the awards that we present and the wonderful achievements we recognize are the way in which something that's a long-standing tradition here, but which we have only recently embraced in a very official and open kind of way, and that's the 5 cardinal experiences. What we see are exemplars of how those 5 cardinal experiences really come to life. And it's wonderful to see the testimonies that you provide to your faculty, your mentors, to your families, and to your friends in the midst of this, and how you've come to realize your potential. I just came back from a meeting in Washington, D.C. a couple of days ago called Opportunity Nation, and I brought home a little souvenir with me. So there won't be a lot of handshaking at homecoming this year, but I'm hoping for lots of hugs. But anyway, one of the metaphors at that conference was there was a lot of conversation and a lot of symbolism around broken ladders. The idea is the ladder representing the pathway to realizing one's potential through opportunity. And they kept showing this ladder that was broken, that was falling apart, and they kept talking about the way in which some people have trouble getting on that ladder. And sometimes when they approach the ladder, they find that the first couple of steps are missing. There are indeed individuals in our world, in our country, who have trouble getting on that ladder of opportunity. But I guess what I see, the metaphor for Otterbein, is a ladder that's reinforced by the faculty and by the staff, by the friends and family of the individuals we've recognized this evening. That ladder is firm and strong, and it's on stands that are not going to give, that are not going to give way, that are not going to slip. They're there for you. And what's so wonderful about an event like this is that we see that not only the faculty and staff and community at Otterbein and certainly the family and friends who support you make all of this come to life and make the 5 cards possible for the individuals we've recognized, but also you see the way in which this is all paid forward. So the faculty and staff prepare these wonderful students who graduate and go on to do wonderful things, and then they touch the lives of elementary art students or those fighting for various causes, supporting funds, fundraising for various initiatives, and so forth. All of this multiplies in terms of what we do here at Otterbein. So I want to say, again, congratulations to our honorees. You make us all proud each and every day. And I want to, again, thank the faculty, the staff, the friends and family of all of these wonderful awardees, and say thank you, Otterbein, for building that strong ladder of opportunity and making it work for all of these wonderful individuals to get to the top. Thank you.
What a tremendous tribute tonight. I sit here and I feel as if you've been my children. I've put you through orientation. You're part of a family, and I am so proud to be here at Otterbein. And so tonight, you're Otterbein leaders, and you make a difference in the city, within the state, the nation, the world. And it is a privilege to be here this evening for this 2nd annual Young Alumni Award ceremony. Now, you know a program needs to have an engine behind it, and I do specifically want to thank my colleague, Kara Anderson, who puts this program together and has created a legacy and a tradition at Otterbein. So thank you, Kara. Now, as for tomorrow's homecoming schedule, you'll see that listed in the back of your program. And Scott and his family, I think your father, you're leading the race tomorrow. Yes, your father is leading the race. We have a 5K race in the morning. We start at 8:45 in front of the campus center. Now, it's not just running. There's strollers that are welcome and walkers. And if you just like to sort of coast, you can cruise in for the St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Now, the weather forecast says that the rain will be out of here by 8 a.m., so it will not rain on my parade.